Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are now back here with Noble Thomas. And of course, he's the owner of TrueCareHealth.com. Quite a few locations. Again, he's based out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina, holistic health, anti-aging, and so much more. Noble, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. Hope everyone had a good week and good weekend.
I sure did. And yourself?
Hey, it was good. It was good.
Awesome. You feeling good? Feeling healthy here? Happy February.
Yeah, that's it. Things, well, things are going good. I think things are looking up for what's happening in the world.
Good.
And so even I know you asked me once about what's going on with the current environment. And one of the things that I think is happening, we know the cases are going down, hospitalizations are stabilizing.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things we thought that with the vaccine, so to speak, is that Omicron is believed to be a vaccine itself. I was having a discussion with a scientist. This was back in 2007, I think, and he had gotten a grant, as a government grant to figure out how to put vaccines into foods, into soybeans is what he was working on. So that in case there's ever an outbreak, he can distribute the vaccines to everyone just by putting it in the food. And there's a process called attenuation. And where you can take, this is how the flu vaccine was originally done, where you take the virus and you pass it from eggshell to eggshell into many generations, so that virus became really specialized for eggs. And if you put it in a person, it still had an effect, but it's a low effect. And so that was a way of creating immunity, which is what happened with cowpox as opposed to smallpox. Cowpox was specialized in cows. And so they started taking the scrapings off the cowpox and putting it in people, and it gave them partial immunity to smallpox. And this was one of the beginning of the vaccine. And also back with even like polio. Polio was done by an attenuated organism, and they would give it to kids. They give it to kids oil drops sometimes. And the idea was that if they gave it to kids, they'll vaccinate everyone, because it came out through the fecal oral route. So the kids go home, they wouldn't wash their hands well, and the parents would get vaccinated as well. So, so the thought process, maybe we know that there is some attenuated vaccines being developed. Maybe it's that this is one that's escaped in the area and that was given, and now it's going from person to person. Or we know it didn't come from Delta, and it's not an evolution from there. So it's possible that it's one that escaped, or could have naturally.
It's the first time I'm hearing this. So I thought Omicron was just another variant of the virus. It's not true.
It's a variant, but it's not. It's a weakened variant. It doesn't work the same way. It doesn't go deep into the lungs. It stays in the upper respiratory system, like some of the earlier coronavirus that was like common cold.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it enters the cells differently. It doesn't enter the cell exactly the same way, which is why even the current vaccines don't work as well as completely as they had hoped, because of the mechanism is a little bit different.
Okay.
And it doesn't cause the same effect. People have it. Most people have it. It's like a cold. You get sore throat. Some people get like hip pain. They get joint and hip pains and bone pain. And I have a few people that get like, you touch their skin, any water, air, anything touch the skin, and feel like someone's cutting it with a razor blade.
Oh, wow.
But those are usually usually transient, and that people tend to recover more, and it's easier to address than with the earlier versions.
So once we have Omicron, which most of us have had it at this point, but you're saying that we have also a new antibody in a sense in our body, which is going to help us down the line with the next variant that's coming out, or how does that work? Is it making us, each time you get something like COVID, right? You're building immunity in a sense, right? Can you explain
Well,
it to us? What's happening?
well, when it comes to natural immunity versus the current vaccines they use spike proteins, and that's one component of the virus.
Okay.
When you get natural immunity, you build components. It's like 29 major proteins. You build immunity to more than one of those. So even if you get a different variant, you still have immunity. So the good thing about Omicron is that it's going to create immunity against even future variants that may come. And so, people would be less sick from any future variants. And
Got it.
it's highly contagious. So, spike protein counts is higher, but it's different. It works differently. It doesn't go down deep into the lungs as the earlier versions did.
Got it.
So it's going to be so people be whether they want to be vaccinated or not, they're going to be.
Got it. Perfectly said. Good. So that's a good thing. And
All
things are
right.
actually looking better overall. I saw that part on the news. Hospitalizations are down, which is a good thing. My goodness. But still, this exists. And what is your take now? I mean, do you think, is there more variants to come? I mean, and building immunity, that's what we're here to do. We got to make your patients and clients healthier too, right?
Yeah. When it first came out, I used to do like something on Sunday, like a presentation. It's mainly to my family and friends. And what I told them at the time is that no one ever gets exactly the same virus. When the virus passes from one person to the next person, it takes a part of that person with them, and it's not the same. So every virus that goes from one person to the next person is a variant, but it has to change enough to have the definition to say, okay, it's different enough that we can say this is slightly different. But it's not exactly the same. Viruses are important
Got it.
for a lot of different reasons. They have I don't mean to spend the whole time on this, but
No, it's okay. It's been
but
8 minutes. We're good. We're good.
okay.
Yeah.
But viruses are important in that they actually help with our how should I say special selection, how help us share genetic material from one organism to another. And they're taking advantage of that property in like the CRISPR and some of the genetic engineering now, that virus can take genetic material out of one organism and put it into another and that kind of thing.
Got
So
it.
so it plays an important role in that role.
Awesome.
There's even something called plasmids that even bacteria, even the different species, they trade. It's like small little viruses. Actually, they trade organisms and sort of sexually generate between organisms where they spread this genetic material from organisms. So that's why you have an organism that's a bacteria that's resistant to penicillin.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe a different type of organism that's not, but they may share, if they're in the same person, may share that plasmid that gives them resistance. And now this other organism is resistant too.
Wow.
And so that's one of the methods that it happens. So but anyhow, I'm getting off subject.
All right. Tell us, Noble Thomas, TrueCareHealth.com. That's the website. And let's talk about the work you do and how you can help our listeners. I mean, there's a lot to you and to your company. So where did you want to start today? I'm glad we started with coronavirus. Where are we continuing to, I should say? Yes.
All right. So no, we started with the purpose of helping people and helping people that are not being helped by the regular medical system. And from there, we found people with weight issues often went along with it and inflammation. So we started helping people lose weight. And as they begin to lose weight, sometimes there's pockets of fat that didn't go away evenly, or they had loose skin. So we started doing body contouring where we tighten skin, we laser fat, freeze fat, ultrasound fat, do a lot of things to fat to even the body, as well as doing some things like hair removal and that kind of things as well. But so that's kind of the evolution of it and how things evolve. We even had someone with excuse me, a neurologist that referred someone to us recently that had signs of MS, but it didn't fit the typical MS picture completely. They had brain lesions, but and there's something called pseudo MS, multiple sclerosis. It's kind of a false version of it in a way that it even get brain lesions but it happens differently. It's often sometimes it's an allergic response to something that you're happening. Sometimes there's a bacteria that's in the gut, some place that's causing the problem. And so that's sort of the exploration that we have. And the whole point of what we try to do is get to the root cause of making things happen. We have a few people that we help them get rid of their diabetes, and meaning that if they're being diagnosed for the first time, they wouldn't be diagnosed at that point in time. Um, so, so sometimes we have, when they're getting rid of their diabetes, they have people, they complain and say, hey, my blood sugar is dropping too low. And that say that means you don't need the medicines like that as much anymore. We want it to drop low. We want you not to need the medicine. And so that's sort of something that goes on. But I'll let you ask you.
No, I'm just thinking, I love the fact that you do anti-aging too, because people we're looking, I mean, with science, everyone wants to look better. Like you mentioned, the body contouring, the fat freezing, but also from the inside out. What types of things do you do for people to work on their insides to make them healthier specifically?
Well, what we see a lot is we see people with fatty livers, and they have when you have a fatty liver, there's fat buildup around the end of the liver, and often it's inside your muscles as well. And when that happens, people become like insulin resistance, and they don't handle sugars and carbs well, and certain proteins well, and those sort of things as well. Then people get, they get joint issues. The bones don't form properly. They get osteoporosis. They get, in other ways, rheumatoid arthritis. They get autoimmune conditions. They get Alzheimer's, which is sometimes called diabetes type 3.
Mm-hmm.
You get products built up that bind to the DNA, and they bind to the DNA because the body's not eliminating them properly, not using them properly, and it causes the way that the DNA expresses itself. It causes people to age differently, and they age in a way that's not favorable in general, and have these long-lasting issues. One of the things is that sometimes if you tell people if they were to be a certain way, they would die in 30 minutes, they might listen. But if you say, okay, you're going to die in 5 years, or you may die in 5 years, they say, okay, I got 5 years. Nobody, so what's, they're not going to pay attention. So, but it's what we do every day that makes a difference. And what I find also, people, when it comes to weight loss, everyone thinks they know how to lose weight. They say, I know how to do it. I just need to do more of this. In most of the cases that they're actually headed in the wrong direction, they're maybe following some type of general things that set out, some type of program they heard about, and they think they need to do more of that. Maybe hit the gym more. I need to exercise more. Or I need to eat, cut the carbs out. And so they're following these things. They think they know how to lose weight, but they're not losing weight, or they don't keep it off. But they think they just need to do more of that. So they're doubling down on what they've been doing already, but it's not working consistently. It'll work. And so that's one of the barriers that we have to get across with people sometimes, is that everyone thinks they already know how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, but we don't. We need professionals. We do. We need help. And would you mind I know just for new listeners today tuning in, they may not know a little bit about yourself. I know we didn't start off. So would you mind just giving us a little bit of your background? Tell everyone who you are, what you do specifically. And again, TrueCareHealth.com is the website. But tell us a little bit about your background and expertise.
Okay. Well, I'm a clinical pharmacy practitioner, meaning I'm have both pharmacy and medical authority. I went to medical university and did a lot of extra programs to get some other qualifications, get some certifications with some anti-aging associations and things of that sort. So, did some teaching, worked with a foundation for a while where I got to do some international travel and work with some interesting diseases involving hemoglobin, abnormal hemoglobins, including sickle cell, thalassemias, which there are hundreds of different types. It's not just one type. And So that was an interesting piece. And got to also work with newborns, newborn screening program. I sort of coordinated that for part of the state of South Carolina for a while as part of a grant. And where we were sort of educated parents with, they had kids born with abnormal hemoglobins and what they need to do. When it comes to here, we have the certified in lasers and laser techs and a bunch of other things that we do in the body contouring and those sort of things. So that's it. There's
Awesome.
but,
And you're based nowadays, how many locations you have in North Carolina?
well, we have
Is it?
we have two buildings, two
Okay.
spaces, but we consider that to be one, but it's one focus on anti-aging more, one focus
Got
on
it.
body contouring and more.
But people come to you from all over the country. They can fly in and work and get their work done with you. Also, you mentioned you can send out if someone's doing a full body assessment, that's something you could send them. They can get it done at a lab near them and then work with you guys one-on-one virtually, right?
Yeah, there's an actress that actually comes out of New York for some things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so but we have yeah, so if you need to do assessments, we can do labs. You do them, send them, we do them in your area, and we can talk about it. We work more as in a health coaching capacity in that area, to sort of coaches through your health issues, and sort of suggest some things that you might want to do in that capacity. If you can come here, we do even more. We can run you through some detox programs. We can do some to help. One of the reasons some people are overweight too is because of toxin exposure. And so we have run people through detox programs as well. And with the illness.
What type of toxins? Would you mind elaborating, like from the environment or from their body makes them, or what specifically?
All of the above.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I mean, not
people,
cool, but cool. How did you even know you're
yeah,
exposed? I guess you don't, right? Until you get tested to see what's in your, ooh.
Yeah, there's some people have problems eliminating, and because of the genetic differences, eliminating certain toxins. But one of the big ones is even toxins from the environment, even with like some of the plastics and things that we have, things in the air, even products you put on the skin. There was we get some men that come in with man boobs and things of that sort. One of the things that happens, I found even in some deodorant, is a natural deodorant. There's a product that triggers estrogen production. So men put that on, they're getting enlarging bulbs, larger breasts just from putting that deodorant on.
Type of.
So one of the things we used to do when people come in to us, we have them bring their products in, we look over them and see what might be toxic. And sometimes those are some of the things that's actually causing it. Causing the inflammation. One of the defenses that the body has when something is toxic is that the body tries to walls it off, and sometimes it stores it in fat. And even people who, when they begin to lose weight, sometimes people, they begin to feel bad when they begin to lose weight. They say, I felt better when I was eating.
What?
And it's often because of the toxic exposure that people are having. And so because the toxins are being released, they begin to feel bad. And so we have to deal with that as people begin to lose weight as well. But yeah, toxins from environment, from water, from the tape that you get at the register, certain of those. Now, there's some types you might touch, and some people, they feel like the hand is burning, and from the toxins from the register tape that you get. So that's why some places now ask you, do you want the receipt?
Got it.
We heard that, yeah. So
Can I ask you about a quick question about, like, my mom unfortunately passed of lung cancer. She had stage 4 lung cancer like 5 years ago, and she was a smoker. So, but a lot of times people appear to get lung cancer that never even smoked a day in their lives, right? I know it's a lot of genetic disposition and all, but there was also some talk. My mom cleaned houses for a living. Just in your expertise, can cleaning agents, being around a lot of bleach and that type of inhaling all the time, is that something that really can affect us? Because I'm a massive cleaner. I clean my own house like every day as well. I have an obsession like my mom. I don't do it for a living, but I'm using all these chemicals and it can't be good for me when I'm inhaling. I don't know. And now I'm like, okay, should I be worried? I'm 43. No, I just turned 44. But you know, my mom died, she was 62. And I'm thinking, all I do is bleach. I bleach the toilets every day. Some of my kids, I have a 5 and almost 7-year-old. They go to the bathroom. I run with the bleach. I'm like, I got to get the urine. I got to clean it. It's an obsessive problem. But could that be being absorbed into me and not be?
One of the things that's an issue with some of the cleaning products is a chemical called benzene. Benzene is sort of a circular chemical compound, carbon-based compound,
Okay.
and benzene type compounds can cause certain benzene compounds can cause cellular changes that could lead to cancer and not be easily eliminated from the body, and can over time can cause problems. And so yeah, with chlorine is different. Usually surface wise, there's usually not a lot of absorption, but it can be.
Mhm.
It's more important. The inhaling portion can be harmful, and with chlorine, and when it's mixed with certain fluoride, with certain compounds are mixed with water. Even one of those artificial sweeteners is a chlorine-based compound.
Really?
And when one of the problems we have with that one is when people eat it, it destroys their gut bacteria.
Is that like Sweet and Low where it says can cause cancer in laboratory animals?
That's for different reasons. This
Oh,
is
okay. I'm like, wait a sec.
this is I didn't want to mention a brand per se, but it's like
Uh-huh.
the size of
Art.
the SP.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Ending the. So but so that's one of them that
Okay.
releases that. And but yeah, so toxic exposure. And well, we can also talk about other reasons for I know we're all over the place today.
No, it's all right.
So because each one of these topics we're talking about, we could spend hours on, okay? And so I'm sort of giving a little bits of information that I think that'd be helpful to people, and they can feel free to reach out to us, or seek their provider if they want, just for more information. So let's talk about other weight things that affect weight.
Sure.
Okay, so we have hormones. Now, hormones, you run the full spectrum, even things that people don't think about as hormones. I think we talked in the past about balance of certain hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and how that can create anxiety in people. And where people can't sleep, they don't feel at ease, they get on anti-anxiety medicines and that kind of thing. And when they don't really need it, and the real problem is the hormone problems. Thyroid, of course, is a big one. I get a lot of people to come in and they say, my thyroid is normal. I've been tested, it's normal. We test it, it's not normal, okay? When the people walk in, someone was here yesterday, actually, they walk in, I knew they had a thyroid issue right away. And even though their tests, they say it came back normal. And we test it, it's not normal. We do a different level of testing that's done by most providers. And we show it to them. So yeah, that's it. But there's other hormones with, even adrenal gland. I see someone come in and they have belly, they have tire around the waist, they got back fat, they got legs are getting kind of frail and loose skin. They're getting wrinkles, they're getting and they're craving sugar at night. Another version that craves salt. But so then that's no, that's probably what it is. There's another sign that people may wake up at night. They wake up in the middle of the night and they wake wide awake, ready to clean the house, ready to do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And that's another sign that there's another version of it going on.
Got it.
So yeah. So often when people walk in, I look at them and I say, okay, I got an idea of what's going on. We run tests to confirm it, of course, but the appearance sometimes informs what we need to do and focus on.
Thank you. So for weight loss, obviously, we can contact you as well. We still have 3 minutes left, so I don't know what else you want to add to that. Again, TrueCareHealth.com is the website. And are you guys on social media as well?
We're not much
Okay.
on
No,
social media, so that's something that we have to work on to
no,
get it
not.
on social media.
You really
But
don't. You
yeah,
have
yeah.
an office. You have professional. You're fine. But I
Mhm,
just asked just to make sure. So, and you mentioned before diabetes, right? Let me
mhm.
ask you this. You clearly, okay, people in the United States, is it true? I forget how many months ago it was. We are a lot more obese than other countries, especially in Europe, right? Like Italy, like Greece, France. It was on the news a few months ago, but is it true because our diet is so poor? Or could it be genetics linking you to where you live? I mean, what is wrong? Are we as Americans eating processed foods too much and the wrong things? I mean, really, is there
Well,
any advice you can give to us? Because seems like I think we're a lot more obese than most nations. Is that true?
yeah, that's true. It wouldn't be genetics per se because we are from everybody, everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, there's even as countries begin to adopt our eating pattern, there's even some places in the Africa that didn't have a problems with diabetes at all. That's now beginning to have it because they adopt some of our eating patterns.
Mhm.
And that's yeah. So it's basically, and there's even in Europe is some places are protected because they don't allow certain things additives in their foods
Got it.
that
Okay.
that
Mhm.
we do. So they ban certain things that we allow in. So that's those countries. Even France is a good one that does some of those things that even though they're beginning to change a little bit, but they're still a lot better than what we are.
Smart countries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? It
That's it.
really is. And to teach our youth at a young age the importance of nutrition. It's funny because my kids 5 and almost 5 and 7, my 7-year-old eats nothing, eats pasta, eats pizza, very picky eater. He'll eat chicken nuggets from Applebee's and only from McDonald's. Well, it's just but he will drink milk, pulling teeth. The other one eats everything and on the plate and the vegetables and the fruits. So it's like try to teach your youth, right? And at the same time, how do you try to get them to develop taste buds that they don't have? And how do you force them? You want your kid to start eating healthy, but at the same time, what do you do?
But you mentioned milk. Milk is not necessarily healthy, but there's
I'm
not
thinking
the
that's the only form of protein he gets because if you,
well. If there's different types of cows. And if you're going to do milk, you should do it from a type A2 cow, and not
type
from
A
a type
two,
A.
I'm gonna write that down. Type A two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The kind of cow that is most often used in this country is not the greatest, but you just have to use a different kind of cow.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. What about organic? I mean, is organic milk guaranteed from the best cow or no?
No, no.
See, didn't
Uh,
you think buying organic is better for certain reasons? But there you go. There's a difference between A1 and A2. Oh my gosh, I never knew about that. So now I do have to figure. So make sure he gets that. That's something that can benefit from, but it's really hard to get any protein in him, right? So milk it is. And now I learned about that. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Don't worry about the protein so much because um the body, as long as he's getting the right appropriate amino acids, the body can make the protein.
Okay,
And
good.
you don't have to have meat per se or some animal products. Not that there's anything wrong with animal products, but there's well with most of them, but but that he don't have to have that to get his protein.
Got it.
His body can make proteins if he gets the appropriate amino acids.
Okay, we
Um,
got to
I
talk
mean,
about that next time. I got to find out more about what he's eating and what he's not to get those amino acids because I don't think his vitamins contain amino acids. Um, but Noble Thomas, tell us truecarehealth.com and give us your phone number.
Telephone number is 704-909-0355.
Perfect. And they want to reach out for consultation, they can call you directly.
They can call, or they can go to the site and fill out our information, our contact form, and we'll reach out to them as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And we're looking forward to the next time we speak. And thank you to all of our listeners. Please stay tuned. More of the show is coming right up.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.